Joining me now is Mary Lovely, Senior Fellow at the Peterson Institute for International Economics. Mary, good to have you. Trump says India agreed to stop buying Russian oil. Are there concrete enforcement or verification mechanisms that would ensure compliance to that you see in this?
First, we don't even really have it, to the best of my knowledge, in Modi's own words. So we have the promise from President Trump. And the U.S. does monitor, to the best of its ability, the ships that carry these oil, just as we were able to track oil from Venezuela. So there is some enforcement mechanism.
This comes, as you know, just days after the EU finalized a major trade agreement with India. Based on what you've seen here, and again, as often with these Trump trade deals, there's not a lot of, actual things written down. Is this deal comparable to the EU trade deal?
Well, as you said, there's really nothing written down. We don't have the details. And like many of the agreements that President Trump has signed since the beginning of this term, it appears to be inchoate. It's not finished. It's clearly also not permanent because President Trump changes his mind and raises tariffs on different items. The EU deal is different. It will be permanent in some sense, but it also is very thin. The EU wanted to show that it could create new trade partners, move away from the US, and its deal has a lot of limitations. For example, it doesn't cover agriculture. And a lot of the things on which India promised to provide market access to the EU, they limited with quotas. And I expect that this deal will also have those types of limits.
It's yet another deal where India gives more than the U.S. does, at least based on the outlines as we know them. U.S. does reduce to 15%, or so rather 18%. India reduces to 0%. Why do countries still sign deals like that, given all the, beyond the imbalance there, just the lack of real credibility, right, given that Trump often changes the deals later, the terms? Why do they sign these deals?
Well, I guess here I'm going to have to be a skeptic and say I will believe it when I really see it with India. India is notorious for not really living into, or basically not even really signing agreements. It pulled out of the agreement in the Asia Pacific called the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership at the last minute. So we don't really know what India will do. It has lots of ways to raise tariffs back up. 0 tariffs on US, I really doubt that that's what will happen. And if there are, they'll be subject to quotas. So, and why would it do it? For the obvious reason everybody else does, which is US security and US military. Because, the movement down to 18 is really very valued by India because they'll get to compete against other Asian countries. But I don't think they're going to sacrifice their own domestic development goals for it.
Mary Lovely, I'm sure we'll keep talking about these deals. Thanks so much for joining.
You're welcome.